Yeah, you got me?
I got you. Super Bowl week. Yes,
All
sir.
right. Yeah.
Right.
Good.
Are
Doing
you,
well.
who's going to New
Yeah, getting ready
Orleans?
for it.
Who's going to New Orleans? Dave Hyde or something? Who's going to New Orleans?
Oh man, no, we haven't traveled for the Super Bowl in a while. The year that Brian Flores was being hired, I know all the papers sent a writer over to cover to interview Brian Flores at Media Day, now called Opening Night or whatever. But yeah, that was the last time. I mean, I covered Super Bowl live when it was in Miami. Before I was on the Dolphins beat, a little
Well,
bit
things
before I
have
was on the
changed,
UN
huh?
beat.
Things have changed,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
Because I mean, the papers all used to send 2 or 3 people to
man.
every Super Bowl. Every
Golden
Super
era.
Bowl, they didn't matter. Yeah, things have changed, dude. Unless it's in your town,
Yeah.
it's yeah. And I wasn't going to do the Super Bowl radio row thing because that's a ridiculous amount of money that you've got to pay to be there. And I would that's just insanity. They make you stay in the Super Bowl hotel, which is like $300 a night and all that. It's like, get out of here, dude. I'm not gonna make my sponsors pay for that ridiculous crap that we're not gonna get the returns on. It's just crazy. All right, so
I think that's the same perspective with us. It's just that there's not much return that you get out of it. Yeah.
no, dude, please give me a break. And what do I have to? I have to interview a guy because he has to pump some prostate medicine, and then the other guys, what? Like what? One year when I started getting disgusted with the whole Super Bowl week was Mike Haynes. So, and I'll say this, I don't give a shit. So Mike Haynes, they schedule him for the interview. One of the great cornerbacks for the Raiders. Okay, you know who Mike Haynes is, right?
No,
So,
actually, the first time you said it, I thought you were talking about my canes, like
no,
a
no,
my hurricane or
Mike
something.
Haynes, the great Raider corner. Okay, this is like 10 years ago. I forgot what Super Bowl I was at. Maybe I was at Dallas with Brandon Rodriguez, and so
Oh,
Brandon said
corner. No, I heard quarterback.
cornerback.
Corner.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. Mike Haynes, man.
Okay.
Bro, it's a
I'll need a history lesson and get.
It's a classic Raider corner. But anyway, so they schedule the interview. We go to a commercial break, and I say hi to him. I introduce myself, like we do in a lot of these interviews before we go on the air. Hey, how you doing? This now, my name's Orlando. Blah blah blah. We'll go over. And he goes to me, hey, listen, just so you know, don't ask me a lot about what's going on now because I really don't watch the game much. So I'm thinking in my head, like, so what the hell am I supposed to do with you, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like, how are you going to break down this game for me? How are you going to, But he was there to pump some product of that he was there, to promote. And you've got the person setting up the interview that happens to be representing the company. So at the same time, you got to be there and you got to do like half the interview, and then the other half is whatever product they're pumping. I'm like, you know what, bro? Enough. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to make all my sponsors pay for me to go there. Sean and I are going to work easily. What, Sean? In a Super Bowl week, what are we going to work? Like maybe 70, 80, 100 hours? And because you got to stay there before and after your show to record all kinds of interviews and all that kind of shit. It takes a long time. And then get what out of it? That for other people to pump their products? Get out of here. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I just lost so much respect for the process. And I was like, out of here, dude. You're going to tell me before you don't watch the game? You were one of the great cornerbacks in the history of the game and you don't watch the game? It's like,
man, yeah. You'd have to find ways to finagle some questions like, if you were playing a mobile quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, then how would you?
Not for nothing, but my boy Mark Hochman would be perfect for it because since he really doesn't talk sports, he'll just ask him about his favorite sandwich or what donut he had or something like that. And they'll go into a silly conversation about that. Oh, and then tell me about your prostate product, and then that's it, and then you're off with the interview. But I'm not simple, I'm not. Around, but it'll have to be in the process. It's not about it all being a joke. That's the difference there. You know,
Yeah, and you got to pay to then promote all these other products. Yeah,
you're not paying me.
Right. Yeah,
You didn't give me money to be on there. No, I'm paying to be there. To then paying to be there to promote your products. Get out of my face, bro.
No one negocio. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's freaking. They're killing it over there, man. You know what I'm saying? So, are you feeding this bullshit to people about Marcus Mariota? Because like he doesn't fit this system. He, like he's not accurate. He doesn't have anticipatory skills. Like, have people watched Marcus Mariota? Now, again, a great point by somebody. They did sign Tyler Huntley, who again doesn't fit the system, doesn't have anticipatory skills, doesn't have great accuracy. So I'm just wondering, are you falling for this? Because that's a complete waste of time.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be entirely surprised, and I think Adam Schefter, if he's bringing it up, it's not because of any.
Is he bringing it up, or he says there could be a little bit of interest in Marcus Mariota between the Raiders and the Dolphins?
Well, it was kind of unprovoked when he brought it up on Pat McAfee. It wasn't like it was asked to him. Okay, do you see a link between the Dolphins and Marcus Mariota? I mean, he kind of brought it up on his own. Just I think what they were just talking about Raiders hiring Chip Kelly, and then mentioned
that would make all Chip coached them for a couple of years, and exactly. You know you're trying to establish an offense. There's nobody there right now except Aiden O'Connell. Chip, not a lot of people are going to know his offense, so you bring in Mariota. Not that he'll be the starter, but he's very familiar with things that Chip does. So when you do bring in the young guy and an older guy, they can all look at Mariota and say, well, Chip's trying to do this or trying to do that because he's been around Chip. That makes a lot of sense in that fashion. But for Miami, his skill set does not fit this offense. And that's my point. And that's where I think people aren't looking at it. And if you look at his numbers, bro, it's week 18 against Dallas and Trey Lance. If the season, all those guys were already packed for their vacations in that game. And the other game he played was Carolina, bro. When Andy Dalton was terrible and, he had this one game and then he became Andy Dalton. And people then forgot that he was Andy Dalton for a week. You know what I'm saying? It's just like it's just kind of silliness, that you pick and choose because he had two decent games against two of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah, well, and those two games kind of give me maybe the little glimmer of hope that okay, he did maybe have a little bit of a transformation this year. I mean, because we hadn't really seen him for so long. He did have the 1 year in Atlanta, but it was just his time in Tennessee came to an end, and then. Yeah, you barely saw him in years.
Off the bench. When you're off the bench and you haven't played much and they haven't seen you, you kind of surprise people. You get lucky. You complete 2 or 3 passes. One was week 7. The other one was week 18. It's just, and by the way, Washington ran for 214 yards that game against Carolina. So it was also part of the running game that dominated. And it made life really easy for him. He doesn't fit this system, dude, at all.
Sure. But you did see a high completion percentage with him, which if you're looking for similarities to what Tua does, now I have to go and watch those game film back to really see if, I don't know if it was like a bunch of screen passes, but the yards per attempt were at least there as well to go with it. So, but I agree with you. He wouldn't be your number one choice. We've both, I think you've been in agreement with me, liking Jimmy Garoppolo for that job,
or the other kid, the guy that was in San Francisco, Dobbs.
Okay, or Dobbs. All right, yeah.
That's the guy they're going to go after. It'll be Garoppolo or Dobbs, way more than Mariota. I think Garoppolo will be their top target because he's the guy.
He'll be my top choice. Yeah.
He's the guy that can play exactly in this offense.
Exactly. Yes. He's done it before, literally in this offense.
And there's one positive about him. He will not be stupid like Tua and seeking contact. Jimmy actually knows that he doesn't really last long, so he actually tries to avoid contact. I like that about Jimmy. He's learned that his body is not set for that. Unlike the other guy, our guy hasn't figured that out yet. Our guy thinks he's the Hulk, so it's different. You know, have you ever seen any green under his skin? Because maybe he is the Hulk. I don't know. Is there a green skin under his skin? I'm just wondering,
because remember that time? I think it was the Black Friday game against the Jets. He got his was it his tricep? It's kind of like skinned off there, and yes, it looked just like anyone else, right?
It looked like the rest of us. Yeah, there was nothing special there. There was no green. But that's a good memory on your part there.
No, that's one thing I do got.
No. Okay. The other silly story, the other clickbait story is Myles Garrett. Come on, bro. Come on.
When it comes to Myles Garrett, and then also I'll throw in a Cooper Kupp.
Just want to bait these poor Dolphin fans into this silly story. They need guards. They need a defensive tackle. They need a middle linebacker, maybe a big running back, maybe a big wide receiver. The Cooper Kupp thing, that actually makes sense.
Ooh. See, okay? I'm kind of like on boat with just like, forget either one of these. Neither one of these is happening.
No,
tell me about the
neither one is happening. I'm 100% with you on that.
Okay.
Make an argument why I need Cooper Kupp on this team.
Okay. As far as why you need, hey, and anyone can make an argument why they need Myles Garrett on their team.
No, I know, but fiscally, it just, and you already have defensive ends. You know what I'm saying? You already committed money to Phillips this upcoming season. You already drafted Chop. You already have Kamara, and you can go get yourself a rotational guy as number 4. You have so many other needs that really the Myles Garrett thing, you're going to have to give up resources and cap space and all that, and it will limit you in you trying to get better in other areas, especially on offense is what you need. And one of the things you need on offense is you need a bigger wide receiver that can run routes. And if you want to tell me, hey, that move makes sense when only $5 million is guaranteed next year in his salary and all those kind of things. Okay, and he's going to be 31, so they can't ask for the world. All those kind of things, that kind of makes sense. Okay, I'm not telling you it's going to happen, but at least there's some logic to it. Whereas the Myles Garrett thing is excess at this point that you really should not go in that direction to go to excess. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, at edge rusher, we've debated more on this show as to whether the Dolphins will drop one in Bradley Chubb. Coming off his injury in last year and the salary cap implications that could come from if you do cut him post June 1. So that's more of a debate as to whether the Dolphins will drop or not, add one of the caliber of Myles Garrett. So, and also, I mean, I could see him going to one of the teams that are at the top right now, whereas the Dolphins just fell out of the playoff picture, went to 8-9. So you kind of figure he's going to go to someone that's already like right on the verge. It's the
key. He said he wants to go somewhere to win a championship. That immediately eliminates the Miami Dolphins because the Dolphins are nowhere near a championship right now.
Yeah,
nowhere.
Unfortunately. Yeah, and then
even with Myles Garrett, you're nowhere near a championship.
Right. Okay. Which also has implications towards, would Calais Campbell really come back here? Because he wants to win a Super Bowl, and the Dolphins look like more of a closer team to that goal last offseason when he did come over here. And he did get to come back to where he played his college football in Miami. But so would he really come back here? Now, if Anthony Weaver is indeed coming back, as it looks like, then maybe that could help you out in that regard. But by the looks of it, Calais Campbell might be disappointed if he's trying to win a championship and would try to do it here. But you never know what this season maybe did for him as far as trying to get it done here and seeing how the Dolphins were going to be willing to help him out if he was trying to get to another team if the Dolphins were eliminated, all those things, it just didn't work out his way where the Dolphins were still in it going into week 18 and then eliminated during that game. So, but yeah, I mean, Myles Garrett, I would figure like snowball's chance in hell because we're talking more about whether they would drop Bradley Chubb instead of adding a pass rusher of his caliber. Cooper Kupp, it wouldn't make sense from a football standpoint, but just to have that many, to be that committed to so many wide receivers when you already have two and you got to make the Tyreek Hill thing work. I mean, unless if somehow a Tyreek Hill trade did develop, then maybe I could see on the back end something like that happening. But we've already discussed on this show that we do not see that. As much as so many fans want.
They cannot kill cap space in a year trying to save their jobs.
Yeah,
they can't do it. They're stuck like Chuck, bro. They have to. And plus, they have to get through this year so they can just get rid of them after this year and take the cap hit the following year. That's it. They screwed up, dude. They should not have guaranteed that money. They should have just let him walk after this season. And, it is what it is.
It was trying to appease everybody. Everyone else got their extensions. Tyreek Hill wants his guarantees. And you go ahead and appease him. And then he still ends up being this locker room cancer, if you will, end of the season, blowing up, throwing a locker room tirade, even though you tried everything you could to make him happy.
Yeah. By the way, for Justin, Ryan Tannehill makes no sense whatsoever. Another guy with no anticipatory skills, no accuracy, cannot play in this system. So, no, it's a completely dumb suggestion. And any writer that was writing about it in the last year, all they were doing is clickbaiting your ass because it's Ryan Tannehill and the Dolphins. It's a lazy article. That's all it was. A lazy article. Whoever wrote it, whoever talked about it, whatever. Lazy.
I got to go back and make sure I never wrote it. Shit.
If you did some lazy ass clickbaiting.
I don't think I did, though.
In fact, one of your coworkers did it.
Oh, Dave Hyde.
That's right.
He wrote it one time.
He wrote that bullshit clickbait article. Yes, it's a slow off season. Let's fill some space. Let's get some people talking. Bullshit. And if he believed any of it, then it's pretty bad. But whatever.
I think at some point the fan noise gets so loud that you have to address certain things when so many people
address it like I do. Hey, bro, that's all bullshit. Okay, Jonathan Jones comes out and says Chris Greer, there are reports he could retire and step up to an exec. No, that's horse shit. That's how I attack that story. Lots of you guys just aggregate the story and say, well, CBS is reporting, so you can clear your ass on it and say, well, he's reporting. Well, if he does step down, what are the options and all that? So you guys can have your fun and aggregate that story. Well, see, I don't do that. I just say Jonathan Jones is full of shit. The guy just signed a contract. Nobody in their right minds just signs a contract that's fully guaranteed and just walks away and says, I'm stepping away, so now I'm freeing you from not paying me anymore. No, that doesn't happen that way. In this business, I want you to fire me, so you have to pay me my entire contract. That's how it runs in this business. That's what they do. It's like Josina Anderson a year ago. Oh, they're trying to find another quarterback to replace Tua. No, they're not, bro. They're completely committed to Tua.
That's right.
It's just instead of aggregating the story and then adding a twist to it, which is what a lot of writers do, I kind of just say, no, that writer's full of shit. He's wrong. She's wrong. Whatever. That report is wrong. And so that's what I do instead. So I'll say that Adam Schefter and Mariota, no shot whatsoever. It makes 0 sense. Myles Garrett, 0 sense, not happening. Cooper Kupp, like you said, fiscally cannot happen. Just cannot happen. But at least football-wise, there's a little logic to it because he's a bigger receiver. He's a great route runner. He's got fantastic hands. It's exactly what Tua needs as a third guy. It's exactly what Tua needs as a third guy.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. But you nailed it. Fiscally, how are you going to commit that kind of money to 3 guys?
Right. With too many other holes to fill on this roster, and maybe if the Bradley Chubb post June 1 cut, if that were to develop, that frees up some cap space, but you still have to send that money
Guards, defensive tackle,
into
a
the trenches. Yes.
linebacker, a safety. What happens with Holland? Do you tag him? What happens? What's your gut tell you with Javon Holland?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sticking true to, I don't believe he's coming back. I think he will actually command some decent free agency money, just even though he had a down year and we saw the missed tackles, I think just based off potential that a lot of teams still see and that he still has. So, and he's still a young guy. He's only
tag? What's the tag?
Oh, I had the number before, but it's was it around 13 mil?
Really? For a safety? No. Really? It's gone back.
And right now they would all be what do you call it? Estimations. Wow. No, hold on. Franchise. Wait.
Well, I was way off, dude. I thought it was somewhere in the maybe 8 to 10 or 11 range.
No, hold on. No, I'm actually even low. I just quickly went on over the cap. No, safety 19.6 franchise tag, 15.5 transition tag. So
transition is 15 and franchise is 19?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
It's a new day. It's a new day with these.
Yeah, no. I didn't know the safety number went that up. Oh, yeah.
Because most other positions, they're in the 20s now. Yeah, they're well into the 20s now.
No, he's gone.
Yeah,
He's gone because you can't tag him.
Yeah, it's not yesterday's price. It's not like everything is just skyrocketed with how much the salary cap went up last year. Remember, it went up more than expected by, what was it, like, it went up like 12, 13%.
I was waiting.
Yeah, so
yesterday's price is not today's price.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. Oh, okay. Is there any surprise cut you see coming?
Surprise cut. I do expect Raheem Mostert because that'll free up $3 million. But let me see. I don't know how much of a surprise that one would be. So I mean, he's kind of like the main one I think about. Bradley Chubb, I guess, would be a bit surprising, but we've tackled it here. Just how much money the Dolphins would stand to save if they do it post June 1, especially when you have 10 draft picks, how much that can help you getting all that influx of money in June to sign those draft picks and not have to worry about that money that you have to save on the front end of free agency. So those are some of the main ones I'm thinking about. You have anyone that's
No. I wanted to ask because I just wonder, since you guys always have to think of articles down the line, things you can fill during the week, there might be somebody that you're targeting saying, this guy might be, a guy that they, outside of the Chubb thing, which is the one that we're all thinking that could be the cap space on June 1st, because you've got so many things to try to improve, and you've committed to Phillips already, and Chop showed you so much that you kind of have your two guys, you know what I mean? So that's probably who you're going to roll with to start next year. And then you've got to find like a veteran to use. So that's one of those guys, but that's obvious. Right. What are any other ones out there? You know what I'm saying? And that they could, create some space with. Calais Campbell is one that I don't think, even if he wants to come back, I don't think he comes back here, dude. I really don't.
Right. Really no, and that one's up to him. Yeah, I mean, there are other places where he could strive to win a championship and have a much better shot at it. I mean, he could return to the Baltimore Ravens and have a real good shot if he goes over there. So with the connections that he has there and having been there. So, and in fact, that was the team that kind of everyone was looking at. If the Dolphins were to trade him at the trade deadline last season, they actually made the offer. And then also, if the Dolphins were to have been eliminated before Week 18, I feel like that's kind of where Calais would have wanted to go back, assuming that he cleared waivers and then was able to be a free agent and sign wherever he wanted to. So that could be where his next destination is.
All right, what do you got going on in the Sentinel so folks can check you out, my man?
Yeah, just ready to react to any news. So I did tackle the Marcus Mariota stuff yesterday because we had to, Big O. and I'll be writing a feature on Storm Duck from a late season interview that I had with him. So kind of wrapping up how his first season as an undrafted rookie that made the team went, and his approach going into this offseason, the key offseason for him. And then just ready to any other news that pops up, coaching staff wise, any other free agency tidbits, draft analysis that pops up this week.
All right, good shit. Follow him on Twitter at David Furones _ and make sure you subscribe, of course, to the South Florida Sun Sentinel. David, as always, thank you, my brother. Have a fantastic week. We'll catch up on Friday.
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
You got it. Get that Super Bowl prediction. Jeff Welt and Daniel Rheaume, they are Super Bowl MVPs. Why? Because they make you a champion. You call them, they go to the courthouse, they crush the competition. You go home with the prize, baby. Big check that you pick up at the office. Bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. If something's going on in your life that this insurance company is not living up to their responsibilities, you call my guys, Jeff Welt and Daniel Rheaume. The consultation is completely free. They will work their asses off. I saw it firsthand. A lot of our listeners now over the years have had a lot of success and have enjoyed Jeff Welt and Daniel Rheaume. For me, that's the most satisfying thing ever. I was happy getting my case done, but when every time I get a DM from one of you or an email, a thank you for talking about Jeff Welt and Daniel Rheaume, Dan was a bulldog, Jeff was awesome, and all that. I love hearing about it. I love hearing how you guys ended up on the winning end, and that's what happens with Jeff Welt and Daniel Rheaume. Call them 954-966-4646. Manny Navarro starts hour number 2.